My name is Melinda Malone, and I am a pet first aid CPR instructor and also a CPR instructor for people. I actually was in law enforcement for 15 years, starting back in the early 80s. And I was a reserve police officer for 5 years for a department in Southern California. And I also worked at 2 different colleges and universities in their campus police departments. In 1998, I decided to move to Arizona, and I fell into grooming and worked at a veterinary hospital for 4 years while I was learning. I also was able to learn a lot of the information about the vet side, what they did in the veterinary hospital, which also added to my knowledge base. And then in 2009, I wanted to have my staff trained in pet first aid and CPR, because you just never know when something's going to happen. I like to say during classes, it's not if something happens, it's when something happens, because you just know it's going to, no matter what.
My name is Kate Clayson. I've been in the pet profession now for about 6 years. I own a grooming salon in Arizona. Prior to that, I was in law enforcement. I was in law enforcement for almost 20 years. Growing up, I grew up in a first responder household. I grew up with firefighters and grew up around the firehouse. And when I got old enough, I thought that's what I wanted to do. I want to become a paramedic, and went and got licensed as an EMT. I was able to ride on the ambulance for a little bit, and life decided that we're going to take it in a different direction. And so at that point, I was a vet tech. I became a vet tech and did that for about 3 years, and I really liked that job. But unfortunately, life decided that it wanted to take me on another route. And during my years as a patrol officer, I also taught at the police academy. And one of the things that I taught at the police academy was CPR first aid. So I was responsible for teaching the new recruits. I was also responsible for teaching my department, and then networked and helped other departments as well. One morning while I was out here in Arizona, that my own dog started choking. And it was in that moment that my first thought was, how do you do a Heimlich maneuver on a 5-pound dog? All the emergency response training that I have in my background, how do you do a Heimlich maneuver on a 5-pound dog? And whatever it was that my body did, it was enough that it thrusted that piece of food out, and she was fine. But it was at that exact moment that I realized it was just as important to know CPR first aid for pets as it was for people. I get a lot of questions in regards to, well, I just want to do this online. To do it online, I always say to my students, if that was you in an emergency, or if that was your pet in an emergency, are you going to want the person that just got certified online, or are you going to want the person that came and did it in person and practiced and did scenario-based training?
We're teaching this class not just to our instructor students, but also to our pet parents and the pet professionals that take the one-day class. We like to tell them, which is the truth. We're giving them a gift, the gift of knowledge. And what is more powerful in life than having that information to be able to save another human's life or to save a pet's life? I mean, that's the best thing in the world. With our new endeavor, with myself and Kate, the Frontline Coalition, what we're doing, we're marrying the two fields together, the human and the pet. So we have to remember that when we have a situation with people, what do? We call 911. But with our animals, we don't have that option. We are the pets' 911. We are their first responders. That is why it is so important that we get people trained, pet parents, pet professionals, those people who are taking care of our pets. Is your pet sitter trained in pet first aid and CPR? If not, ask them why. Why aren't you? Your groomer, your daycare facility, your doggy daycare people, they all should be trained in pet first aid and CPR. Because again, it's not if something happens, it's when.